Hi, I am spliced between a duck and a hard place. A ducking future.
That doesn't
No,
mean
it's not. It
anything.
doesn't. Well, it's not supposed to mean anything.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take over. Hi, my name is Jay Choi. I'm joined with my co-host Nate Rasa, and today we have a special guest, Joyce Meng. Hello,
Hi there.
to our whole audience. Welcome to the studio. So today, basically, we brought in Joyce so that we could talk to an amazing INFJ. Honestly, Nate and I did not prepare for what we're going to talk about today, as per usual. So, Nate, take it away.
Oh, I love how you just passed that off to me.
Of course, I did the intro, man.
Let the one with the 4DFE take over.
Yes, exactly.
No, actually, I thought it would be a really fun
See, I knew you'd think of
game.
something.
Yeah, well, okay, I find it a really fun game to pretty much torture Joyce in the realm of any.
To be fair, we did plan that.
We did, and it was going to be interesting because I wanted to know. Well, one, you had me and you had JC actually before on your channel. You've had us both.
True.
We've had our fair share. We've had our fun. I mean, I was even on a panel of ENFPs.
That's exciting.
So, what's funny is that she
Wait, I
died
watched
2 days
that.
later. Like Joyce died 2 days later, which is the best part
Rip
about
Joyce. Is it
So-
NE? Is NE really like petrifying?
It's, yeah, you guys refer to your NE as torture, so yes it is.
Nate does. Nate refers to it as torture, and we refer to it as torture towards NI DOMs. We don't refer to it as torture to everyone.
it. Well,
NI
what's-
DOMs and polar NE.
Well, what's crazy is that technically NI people like it for some reason. I don't even. know
Well,
why
hold
they
up,
like it.
Joyce. Do you like it for some reason?
Depends on if I can use it to enhance a singular insight. If it's just out of the blue, it might shock me and wake me up in the morning. But like, I don't hate it. Like, it's nice when it's from the people I love.
You're in for a real treat, Joyce. I'm just saying, you're in for a real treat. Okay, so I just like the basic typology opening thing of like what got you into typology, and then I'll cut you off 1,000 times. But
So I was force typed. My best friend's an ENFP, and she was like, "Take this test, but it's gonna be wrong, and I know your type. I know you better than you know yourself." And so
Was she
what
right?
happened?
Wow.
Oh, she was right. Yeah.
Oh.
I got INFJ on the test, but she was like, "Oh,
Oh.
yeah, you are an INFJ."
Nice.
Just how that introduction went, I was force typed. It's like you were gonna sit in this chair and you're gonna take this
It was like,
exam.
and we put a helmet on you. Like,
Yeah,
Electric
it sounds like
chair of
fun
type.
though.
it would be like the way that you test is like you put them in a room and then you don't tell them what's going on. You like walk into the room, you throw a ball at them. If they catch it, SE. If they don't catch it, they're not.
Hey, I told Joyce this. I made a similar example.
you
It's
did?
put the glass of the heck. Put
Oh,
the
on the
glass
edge
on
of
the edge of a table. Yeah.
table.
See if they freak out, because if they
Test
freak
for
out, they're
them.
likely SE and
Yeah.
I.
The way that I always do it with so I have an ESFP friend, and I'd always piss him off because like if we're eating together or something at a restaurant, I just kind of like glance over his shoulder, and then he turns back, and I'm just laughing at him because there's nothing there. He's just like, "What are you looking at?" Or he said like, "Oh, did you see like the cute girl over there?" I was like, "Yeah," but he wants me to turn around and look. He's like, "Look." I'm like, "I looked already." He's like, "No, you didn't." It drives him crazy. Anyway, back to Joyce, our guest for the day.
Yeah, like with SE users, something I do sometimes tell if someone is one is like if they comment on like my clothing in some sort, like I'm wearing a weird top inside my shirt that no one else notices except them.
Yes.
Like they'll notice the most like minute thing that no one else notices, and you're like, how did you know?
I have this ESTP friend, and he's like kind of really awkward, but all the girls love him because like he'll come to class, he'll be like, "Oh, nice hair," and like literally no one noticed. We're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, she trimmed it." Like, okay, and then he goes like, "Oh, nice shorts. You trying something new?" And like sometimes everyone's like, "Dude, shut up!" Like, but like it works. It's like SE embodied. Nate, what is that face you're making?
Yeah, and if they're an ESTP, they'll try to like game the system, which is what Taylor from Flow State always says. And if they're ESFP, they notice everything in their surroundings, everything.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's I don't know, like it's funny because I always get teased about it for being noticeably blind to a lot of things that's going on around me because I'm looking at it, but I'm also not looking at it at the same time. Like I get the tree that's old and it's losing its whatever and it's about to fall off, but I care more about what I think the tree could be rather than it being itself.
So what can the tree be?
Yeah, I'd be like thinking, oh, well, if it breaks, I could probably do something with it. And if it falls in the house, they could probably get some insurance and then they could actually
that
like get some money in.
TE over there, though.
Yeah, like it just that goes in, that rolls in my head. And like and my friend's just like staring there going like, oh, it's going to fall. We need to help that person. I'm like, oh, we care about people again? Oh, okay.
Oh, I hate it when we go back to caring about people. That's not a good place for me. In all honesty, it's not. I would not recommend.
Okay, here's a funny thing, though. Here's a funny observation.
How funny is this?
Well, it's not in the conventional humor. It is, we're all NTs by OPS standards.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, NT tribe.
That is not how you're supposed to say. That's not helping your case, Joy.
It's true.
We're the block bangers.
That was so cute. She went,
no.
True.
Hard pass.
No,
Never mind.
I love that.
Never mind. MBTI, they've outed
Nate,
us.
Nate,
We're feelers.
Nate. Answer me.
I'm here.
Well, you're not responding. Okay, who's a nicer person, Joyce or me?
Oh, definitely Joyce.
Yes.
However,
if someone came on this channel and I was nicer than them,
well, I would put it as you actively try to be nicer. Joyce is just like kind by default almost. You're like one of those girls that I could throw ice on you and you'd be like, oh, sorry, Nate, I was in your way. And I'd be like, yo, hit me back with the ice. Like,
Joyce, you saying you're a pushover?
Yeah, like,
yeah.
Well, in OPS, I'm feminine tribe, so I kind of go with the tribe. And yeah, I do that. Like, if you were to spill hot lava on me, I'd be like, oh, maybe it was my fault for getting in your way. But I think it's like a submissive nature that comes from being in an Asian family too. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, okay, that whole thing that you just said is interesting because like I wrote a Twitter thread recently that like kind of uncharacteristic for me to write that kind of Twitter thread, but it wasn't like anything crazy. But I have feminine TI, and basically I've said in a couple of episodes before that it kind of comes across as me being a pushover when it comes to me expressing my true thoughts, as in my authentic thoughts, or whatever that means, like my real TI, whatever. Sorry, I'm kind of triggered right now, but you can't tell. But basically, like for me, like my feminine TI steps away from the problem in favor of my masculine FE every single time. So if for the sake of the group, well, it's not that, it's more of like, if what I think is gonna harm my relationship with the person, then my FE will always come out first. And the annoying thing about that is that, like, so I'm just gonna go into it. So basically, like, for authenticity, a lot of people preach, like, especially to me as a polar FI user, that I'm kind of fake, like with my FE, you know, and they're like, oh, you're fake, like, you know, share your authentic self. But for me, what I see as my authentic self is my TI. That's what I see as my true self, honestly. But then I noticed that when I take out my TI, then people don't like it. So it's what they really wanted was either my FE, which is already what I'm giving them, which is why they call me fake. But that's not fake either. Or they want like my pale imitation of FI, and it's not like I have FI, so I don't know why it's expected from me. Like, I try too, I really do. Nate knows I try, and obviously I fail because I don't have FI. Like, what do people expect, you know? Like, so I don't know. I'm just coming back down to this, like, there's this aspect as a TI user where the TI authenticity, for lack of a better word, is not as appreciated as an FI authenticity, because people still say TI authenticity isn't real, or they just say it's me. So I want to know, Joyce, your thoughts on this as a TI user as well.
Yeah, so personality hacker, they have a term for it. It's like a taco in your hand, and like when people present the TI taco to people, people want to like smack it out of your hands, and they're like, it's a good present, and then people just hate it. So yeah, it's hard because like TI honesty is like radical honesty, and it can be a little harsh to people who can't take it. And so like you being honest with your ideas and your thoughts, it comes across as accidentally being like too mean to another person's authentic self. So it's kind of weird. It's like when you present your authentic self, it's always in conflict maybe with another person's authentic self, but they have a different type of authentic self that cannot accept yours because your demonstration of your genuine self gets in the way of their genuine truth, which is like a belief that is probably counter to what you're presenting at that moment.
I think I cut you off just now. Interesting thing about that, though, is something I think about, which Nate challenges this belief I had, but it's interesting still, in my opinion, where like TI is a lot of like more, it believes in more subjective truths. You know, we're more of like, oh, other people have their own truths, I have my own truth. But TE is a lot more objective truth. That's their viewpoint. So it's more of like there is a greater truth there. This is the truth. So that's why for some people with really low TE, so some FI DOMs, not all, of course, unhealthy FI DOMs have developed TE. Some of them, you know, they can come across as like, this, my truth is the right truth, and if you have a different truth, you're just wrong. It's not true. You know, only my truth is real. So I feel like that also, there's like this tension that comes between that. And like, I had a more closed-minded viewpoint of this until Nate actually preaches a lot about like, oh, everyone has a different experience. And I'm like, I haven't heard a lot of high FI stack users say that to me ever.
That is strange.
Yeah. Like
that is strange.
Yeah.
That not a
like
lot
the only other one was my mom, but she's an INFP.
Oh wow, that is rare.
And she said it, but I was just like, mother, you're the real homie, you know?
What if it's like people see it as malicious because they can't keep up with your TI? So like TI does a lot of work in its head before it ever goes out into the open. So when someone just hears your TI like conclusion after you've processed it, it can seem harsh because they don't know where it came from. So like the TI process, I heard it really well described by Mara, who's an ISTP. Like she said that like TI compares its own thoughts to another one of its own thoughts, and it keeps doing that with its own thoughts until it creates like a consistent thought with all of its thoughts. But like TE is more likely like to compare its own thoughts to someone else's thoughts, because that brings it more to reality and it anchors it more in like TE usefulness. But like, so then no one knows where TI really comes from, and so when you say it, people can infer poor intent into it when there is nothing there that is bad.
That is true.
I always think in terms of, at least with like FI things, to protect your FI, you have to set a TE boundary first. Like, you know, set up boundaries so that people can't attack your FI. Like in my head, of course, with all of it being unvalued for me, it's like TE is like the wall that protects my sad little speck of FI here in my heart. You know, and it's like a flimsy little wall over here. It's not a good time. It's like, ooh, don't hurt me, you know. And then people like, sometimes I forget to set up the wall, and then people come and they're like, and then, you know, my FI is like, why would you do that to me, you know? Okay, anyway, enough of that. But yeah, so I don't know. I was just thinking about that too. But Nate, I want to hear your thoughts after dominating
Okay.
3/4 of the conversation.
Oh, now? I thought you were still
right
going.
now. No. I wasn't even going anywhere with that. I had 3 points, and I'm gonna not say them because I'm.
Why not? Because like yeah, why not? I don't know. Like
I'm gonna let you say so I could disagree. Hurry up.
No, it's.
I'm the debater.
I know, right? Even though we've never disagreed, like ever. That's like the most hilarious.
I don't think we've ever disagreed.
I don't think so either. I think we say it just to say we did. Like I think I've had this experience with a lot of other people. It's like, just fight with me, pretend, so that people think we're actually like real, because they might think we're fantasies. I don't know. Like when I see the FI authenticity, I like drawing the distinction, because I say we're not actually expressing it, we're seeking it. Because expressing is the result sometimes that we want to happen, but a lot of the times, a lot of FPs that I've at least witnessed and talked to and observed, we always talk about things like, well, we don't like really expressing our feelings a lot, or we like to keep it to ourselves. And sometimes I wonder if I'm being misunderstood. I'm like, yeah, because you don't talk about your feelings. That's why you're going to be misunderstood.
When I first heard that, I was confused, because I had always heard initially that FIs, you know, like they're all about being authentic and sharing their feelings. And then all the FI users I know are like, no, I never share my FI unless I'm like close enough with them. And I was like, what? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go read a book. I'll be back.
Yeah,
you know?
we keep a piece of ourselves always to keep closest to our heart than to you. So like no one's ever close to us. So
which is why it's interesting when higher stack FE users think that they know FI users so well, because it's like the FE user that's wearing their heart on their sleeve more. I think, at least. I don't know. I think every single person of every single type likes to say that people can't read them. I respectfully disagree with half of them. But also, like, yeah.
Everyone's an open book to you.
No.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. But it's interesting. But when it comes from an NI-DOM, it's not funny. It's just serious. Okay, so yeah, my principal in elementary school used to say that I wear my heart on my sleeve, and she was like an FI-DOM, so she noticed that there was a difference between me and her. Like, yeah, whenever I'd feel something, I'd just go like, "Wah!" or like say it, or like make it, people feel it. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because, okay, so I was saying, like, I say half of them are lying because I think every type has an easier time reading certain types, you know, than others. Like, you can't just say, ENFPs are all an open book. It's like, well, some types might be better at reading ENFPs than others, and it might be INFPs, it might be ENTPs, it might be like, I don't know, INFJs. Like, yeah, like, it just, like, but I don't think it's also set either. I think that there is a pattern somewhere in that, like, there are some types that are easier to read from certain perspectives, but I don't know. I disagree with the whole, like, I feel like a lot of, I think I'm projecting a little bit because I think sometimes FI users, high stack FI users come to me and they're like, you're mad. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I'm literally not mad, you know? And if they know about type, they say, well, you wouldn't know. You have polar FI. You don't know how you feel. I'm like, if I don't know how I feel, how do you know how I feel? I'm like, I'm like, what? Wait, what? And they're like, you just can't tell because polar FI. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting mad. You're getting a little annoying. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't really know what I'm talking about right now.
No, but it does make sense because, like, I used to take offense at this when somebody would describe it as like, we'll just try to describe my feelings, but then I just kind of learned it as, well, I know what I'm feeling inside, but what I'm feeling inside isn't what I'm doing outside. So if they make an observation, it's not their fault or my fault. It's just that my feelings are on a different time zone. If I'm angry, but then inside it's a completely different reason, or it has its own unique set of reasons. If they see it, they, like in the FE, they're like, oh, well, he's pissed off. He must be pretty passionate about something. And so they spin a thread of narrative about that, which is fine because how else are they going to do it?
It's just not necessarily like right all the time. It's not accurate all the time.
Yeah, it's because it's all has to be like, well, I can't say it unless it's in a TE sense. Like if you put it under a microscope, then it makes, like, that's pretty much all we have. Like the physical matter is pretty much all I got going for me. If I have to, like, what was it? Like, I could tell you the consistency of a birthday cake, but I can't tell you who's it for. You know, that kind of thing. Like, I can tell you it's made out of this protein, but that doesn't mean the protein's going to tell me, oh, this was because it was a birthday. Like, no, I wouldn't know unless I actually knew the person.
Okay, I'm gonna share my experience and then I'm gonna ask Joyce. But for me, like, whenever I go through something, anything like emotional, I usually like to process it first myself. I don't like to share it with my friends while I'm going through it, but the moment it's over, I will tell my friends. So it's not that I'm not going to share it with them, you know, like, it's not like, oh, I don't tell my friends anything. I just don't like to tell them when I'm going through it, but I tell them, like, hey, I'm going through something. Don't ask me. I'll tell you about it in a week from now, you know, like, because, like, I just don't want to talk about it right now, but I might be MIA for a little bit. So that's me also setting up like a little TE barrier of, don't mess with my non-existent FI right now because I'm going through it, you know, like, but I don't know, what I want to know your experience with, like, if when you're going through something, like, do you open up to people? What types are they, if you do, etc.?
Yeah. So I talk to everyone about my feelings. I am very, like, out loud with my feelings. Like, if there's anything extroverted about me, it's when I'm just communicating my feelings. And I think there's, like, zero lost in that. So if I show anything, it's exactly what I'm feeling at all times. And so like I look neutral right now because I'm feeling very neutral, but I'm happy to be with you guys. You guys are great.
No.
But,
No. No.
She wasn't lying when she expresses everything. She really
upset.
is.
She's upset. No, she's obviously really mad right now. I can tell. I'm an ENTP. I can read you. No, carry
the
on.
type that reads me the best and the type that I read the best is ENFJ, I would say. Just in general. I'm wondering for you guys, like, what is the type you telekinesis with? If that's what it is. Mind read with.
There are two for me, I think. One of my best friends, he's an INTP, and I think out of everyone, he understands me the best. Like, in general, like, he just understands me the best. But I also have an INTJ friend, and we come to the same conclusions for, like, literally everything, but she gets there obviously a totally different way from me, and I get there a totally different way from her. So we cross-check with each other, and when we agree on stuff, we know we're right, because we have everything, everything there. But I don't know, like, I think, yeah, her, whenever something happens, she immediately knows. I think she's the only one where, like, if something emotional happens to me and I don't feel anything yet, she already knows what I will be feeling soon. She knows I'm not feeling it yet, but she says, like, hey, this probably has upset you. You might be sad later, so let me know if you want to talk. I'm like, what? And like 3 hours later, I'm like, dang. No. So yeah, that's for me. I don't know about Nate though.
I don't have enough NFP friends to make the same similar kind of thing where say like, oh, an INFP would predict what I'm feeling. I have known that to be the case for other NFPs talking to each other, but because I don't personally have that, it does not compute. However, I've had lots of experiences where my friends that I have now who are sensors, where they'll be like, oh, make sure you put that in the fridge because you're not going to finish that. And I'm like, oh, but I still feel hungry because my inferior SIS is thinking that I can handle it. And then like midway in, I'm holding the food for like 30 minutes into the movie because I'm too much of an ego to give it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because I don't want to give it because I knew it was full. And then my friend looks at me and she goes, see, I told you. I know you more than you know yourself. Put it in the fridge. Like, it's fine. We're not judging you, but I'm judging you for being an egotistical. Like, please.
Well, I have
like,
a question back for, like, Joyce, though. Like you said, ENFJs understand you the best, like that kind of mind read thing. Do you think it's, like, the fundamental thing of it's really hard for non-NI users to understand NI?
It's like there's something very seamless about ENFJ and INFJ. Like I feel like whenever an ENFJ tells me about something, I can completely understand their thoughts, like completely. I can re-articulate what their experience better than they can to themselves. And it's just this like it's almost like they're me, but with like a slight just more charismatic me. And it's almost like I get to see myself more clearly because I get to look at them, and it gives me a clearer sense of myself through looking at them. So it's like a joyception through other NI users. Yeah.
I do know a lot of my introvert friends, they tell me that they struggle with actually going out and actually doing stuff because they're always in their head. But I can't figure out the balance between trying to encourage them to come out of their shell and leaving them alone. Because I know I like to be left alone, but also I naturally go out, so no one needs to pull me out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, what for you, Joyce, like, if I don't know, like, what's your view on extroverts trying to bring their little introverts to the party?
So during the ENFP panel, Nate talked about bringing us all to a mental asylum near his location, and I was like,
oh yeah, TFTI, I'd be down. What the heck?
I'd be down with going to a mental asylum with him. So basically like I feel really loved when like extroverts bring me out, like at least like they offer when they offer that ticket, like I feel like they considered me, so I can reject it, but like at least they considered me for it.
But I mean, there's also that aspect of like, I have some introvert friends who are like, oh, you guys never invite me. And I was like, we used to invite you all the time, but you always rejected us. Why would we keep inviting you? It makes us feel bad too if we invite you over and over and you say no every time, so if there's like a slight promise of, or even a, hey, I don't like to do things like that, but I have some friends who are just like, oh, I'm busy, and they say they're busy every time, and I'm like, well, we're not going to keep inviting you because there's also a limit to how much, I don't know, it's like like because I relate to that. I'm like, oh, I want people to invite me. I'm gonna say no, but I want them to invite me. But I'm like, but there's also a limit to how much rejection someone wants to take, right? So I don't know.
That's true. I guess like sometimes introverts are a little entitled in that sense because like they want you to like, kind of bait them out, but they don't consider maybe that rejection you face, because I think from their view what it looks like is that you're an innately confident person, so it wouldn't bother you if they said no. But I guess it's kind of like self-absorbed for them to not consider that you would be hurt by it too.
Nate, what are you thinking?
I can't relate to anything you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I figured.
About the invitation thing and all that kind of stuff. Like I've had introverts, like I know some INFPs, I'm not really close to them, but I've heard of along the grapevine them telling my friends, they're like, oh, it feels like you replaced me with Nate because he's the extroverted version of me or something.
Imagine being that insecure.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like thinking, well, I'm sorry that I guess I'm happen to be around when it happens.
Yeah.
And then like when it comes to invitation not being, I would love to not be invited, actually. Don't invite me. Also, I'm the person that I'm the ass that goes, by the way, I'm going, who's coming? Like I'm very that person. And it's like, if I see that, like if you tell me you're going to a mall, let's say, I'd be like, hey, I have some errands, want to chill? I'll go with you. Like invite myself over. So
Also,
that to me,
yeah, Joyce, my example where I said like, oh, we feel rejected, that was an example. I personally don't really care if my introvert friends say no every time. I have other things to do.
Yeah,
but I was just
busy.
thinking, but I was bringing an example because I have some extrovert friends who say, I'm not going to invite them because they always say no and it makes
no, same.
And then I go, I'll invite them then. I don't care.
I like telling my extroverts, I'm like, you guys got to let them come to you a little bit. You know, if you're feeling a little bit hurt, you know, let them warm up. They're like deer that you have to hunt and you have to be patient for.
And I think, honestly, especially for like Nate and I as SP Doms, like we're, actually, I don't know about Nate. I feel like Nate hates to admit it, but he kind of does need people. I think I need people also, but I don't hate it as much as Nate, so therefore there's not as much like pain in my body all the time. Like Nate is always like, I hate everyone.
Call out.
I need people.
I know. Like wow.
Sorry, I just woke up from a nap again. I'm just.
No,
saying,
I love it because it's true.
I
I remember arguing this. I remember yelling this to Megan. I was like, I can't believe it. Like I hate people, but I can't stop being around them. Like my entire world revolves around people, if not all the time.
Well, okay, so what I do, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you guys know about attachment styles? Like, so basically avoidant and anxious attachment. So what you guys are talking about, what you guys are talking about sound a lot like avoidant attachment style.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
But then, like, here's the thing: like, a lot of my friends are actually anxious. Well, one is an anxious and one is a secure, which is so much fun to like compare in contrast. Because I had a sit down one time with my anxious style friend, and we really dug deep. Because one, for her, she feels as if that separation is her fault, whereas for me, separation is not her fault, but also me stepping away is my way of asserting control. So we're both not actually faulting each other. We just suck at being able to express, I guess, the boundary that we want, the expectation that we want. So I'm like, can we like start over? Because we're both carrying trauma from like a previous friendship. Can we like get rid of that and like start over? And like our secure friend was like looking at us going like, you guys are weird. Like, you guys had to do a sit down. You gotta cry over a movie for this. Like you have to drink like a cooler. And he is just going like, hey, guess you're back together.
What are attachment styles?
Just three.
Just three?
Yeah.
I always imagined that there were four.
The crazy style.
Yeah, I was like, where's the one where like people are kind of crazy?
They say that the craziest is the combination of the two. You're both anxious and avoidant. It's called the ultra crazy. I thought that I was both styles, but then I read about the middle one and it's called the most crazy one, and I'm like, okay, I'm not that.
Oh snap.
Okay, this whole conversation, I'm going to read up on it, and then when I see you again, I will actually have data in my brain to parse. Because right now, I'm just like, I literally thought there were three. My life is a lie. I mean, four. I thought there were four. I didn't even say the right thing. I'm going to go to bed.
I love the pink theme going on right here, like where all our backgrounds are synchronous. What does the duck stand for? Like,
it represents Nate's heart. So essentially, you dig down deep. You dig. You get to this heart.
It squeaks.
You realize it's a duck. What does it mean? It means nothing. And it explodes and everyone dies.
You know, it took us what? How many episodes for me to wait for you to roast me this long? To describe my heart as a duck?
Literally, you just need to choose a really hot day to record. I'm gonna take a fat nap before we hop on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, what up?
Every time I'm like, somebody roast me.
Okay, also Nate knows my FE, like, he killed himself like yesterday. Like my FE is gone right now. I'm mad. Like my TI, he's like,
your FE committed seppuku, or it's
it really
is.
My FE straight up. My FE was working so hard. Poor guy. He literally was just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. And here we are. Here we are with me. Yeah, which is why I'm not shutting up. Usually I'm like trying to make sure everyone's talking the same amount. Make sure I'm not the one who's talking the most. Today I don't care.
I love it.
Wait, Nate, do you want people to roast you?
I
can ask the comment section.
Yeah.
That's Nate's favorite thing in the world.
Like, seriously, I really do. Like, I feel like I need more FI users to roast, because FI users are way too uncomfortable to put themselves out there. But I can feel that they can give the most scathing remarks if in the right context.
FI users have really good roasts. They're just too scared of people roasting them back. And I'm like,
we should
just do it. We could reciprocate. Yeah.
Plus, imagine being able to use the roast that you get back from these people.
Okay,
like, you
sorry,
get to
Joyce
use it
was
as
about
a
to say
roast.
something. What's up?
Guys, it's Nate's FE need to be roasted. So in the comment section below, add a roast about Nate, whether it's about his duck heart or whatever you want.
My duck heart. Put that on a t-shirt, girl. My duck heart. Let's make a t-shirt. I'm here for that.
Will he ever feel again? Come back next week to find out.
It has to be a pink duck. It has to be a pink duck, specifically a pink one.
Come back to our next episode to see if Nate will ever feel again.
So I'm not the scarecrow. I'm actually the Tin Man this entire time.
Well, you can be both.
Okay.
Like, honestly. Okay,
Metal
sorry.
straws?
We've been recording for a long time, so thank you, Joyce, for joining us. This was really fun. Next time we'll have like a slight topic. Actually, no, we won't. But we'll have it again for sure. Yes. So to everyone who watched this video, check out Joyce's channel. It's going to be linked in the description below. And yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Bye, Annie Doms. I'll let you guys torture me another time.
Bye, Annie Doms. Bye.